Hi, this is Wishop, and this is your reading for the new moon in Virgo, which actually was September 1st, and which marked a penumbral lunar eclipse. So it sort of counts as the first eclipse of eclipse season, even though it's not quite an eclipse. Anyway, today when I'm doing this is the third. So I got somewhat delayed in doing it, but also delayed by the cards that said not to do it till now. I have been working on a series for Mercury Retrograde. I did an intro video to that, and it's called Why Your Vision Board Sucks. So that series is basically all about creating personal symbolism for the purpose of goal setting. And that can be in the form of affirmations, it can be a vision board, it can be any sort of long-term planning. Maybe you do those really detailed day planners that are part of goal setting on some specific area that you're trying to improve. And in all of those areas, when it feels like that's not working, I think people can feel pretty bad about themselves. And sometimes what's really happening is there are messages in what's not working that can help you refine or revise your approach. So I have to get the 3 big videos loaded. And those videos are subject to a long-term problem that I've had. And this Mercury retrograde, I am dealing with that long-term problem. So I don't have it solved yet, but I am plugging away at it because I feel like now is the time to stop ignoring that problem and to really deal with it. So this is not dealing necessarily with the long-term issues you have that are deeply emotional. They could be healing issues. They could be, deep sort of wounds or relationship issues. But a lot of it, I think, this Mercury retrograde is going to be about identifying functional solutions. And it could be a small thing. I'm using the Hoi Polloi deck this week that's got keys on it. And I think it's good to keep in mind that the largest door doesn't necessarily have a bigger key, right? The toughest club to get into doesn't necessarily have a longer password or a different kind of guest list. The tool that you need might be quite a small, everyday, humble, mundane thing. And making some small, everyday change could really change your life. So you go away for a week and you're gone and you come back to your desk and you find that the plant that you got because you thought it was supposed to help you with electrical pollution and that kind of thing, and it's always been ailing and you feel a little bad about yourself and wish it looked better and wish you knew what to do, that plant suddenly looks better. And you realize, maybe I was overwatering it. So instead of watering it on Tuesday and Thursday, you decide only to water it on Thursday. And the plant loves it. The plant looks great. And you feel great about yourself. And all of the good vibes you were supposed to be getting from it are now happening. And somebody wanders by your desk and is like, hey, that looks really great. And you talk to them about what you learned about overwatering. And they go, oh, maybe I'm doing that with my plant. And, oh, by the way, there's this cool networking event. And did you want to go? And the kind of conversations that come out of the everyday. And what you're going to say later is, I stopped watering my plant and I got a new job. It's going to be like that. So there is an old sort of story, I guess, or verse. For the want of a nail, the horseshoe was lost. For the want of the horseshoe, the horse was lost. For the want of the horse, the message was lost. For the want of the message, the battle was lost. For the want of the battle, the war was lost. So for the want of the nail, the war was lost. During this Mercury retrograde, you may find that little, humble, ordinary nail, and it's going to be a little key, and it's going to turn a big door for your life, or at least it could. So this is a time to sort of look for those things where you've had long-standing issues, You don't have to hunt it down. Don't be frenetic about it, but be open to the fact that while Mercury is taking a vacation on doing everything at the speed of light, he very much would like to help you solve some of these long-standing functional issues, and to really enjoy the benefits of that. So I'm doing a simple tarot spread, and then I've got an oracle card from the Enchanted Map deck. So let's see what's up. Let's flip this. Okay. There we go. Well, all right. So we've got 2s on either side, and we've got Judgment, which is 20. So there's definitely a 2, 2, and 2 sort of thing going on. So it can be, of course, about unions and agreements, but it's also about polarities. It's about working the polarities. So right now we've got tons of planets in Virgo. And so that can focus on practical issues, day-to-day routines, the things you do to take care of your home and garden and pets and that kind of thing. But the polarity is with Pisces, which is deep, sensitive, artistic, and spiritual. So you don't need to neglect one for the other. And Neptune is in Pisces right now, and providing a lot of that deep kind of inspiration. So it's the time you want to get into that deep inspiration and pull that stuff from that inspiration, which you could be having in dreams or in epiphanies of some sort, and pull it into your everyday life. So I'm going to deal with this as sort of like a present and then a past, or what we might want to move away from, and then a future, what we want to move to. So if you look at this, we've got the Judgment card, which can be rebirth. Of course, it can be rebirth, but it can also be waking up, because these characters are sort of waking up from this, these sort of what look like cement coffins, and they're being awakened by the angel. So sometimes reverse cards mean for me things like delay or not yet. And actually during Mercury retrograde is a time that things are delayed. They are not denied, they are delayed, or they have to work out in a slightly different way. It's a time when your expectation that you want whatever you want within an hour or overnight. It might take a day and a half. It might take 2. Most of this stuff won't be essential to your life. Some things will, but most things will be on the level of a temporary annoyance, fortunately. But just try to give yourself time and patience to deal with it. The Judgment card in the upright, where Gabriel is blowing the trumpet, and it's kind of like, wake up, get up, get going, get moving. Okay, you don't have to work that hard. You don't have to be thinking that you have to wake up, jump up, get moving right away. You can use your judgment, but you can use it in a more methodical way, in a slower way. The Two of Swords indicates, I think, the kind of stasis that we're coming out of, which is very much a time of tension, where things feel stuck. Things feel like they're so balanced, it's actually uncomfortable. Nothing feels like it's moving. This isn't that balance that feels like a beautiful ebb and flow like the tides on the coast. This is an uneasy tension of opposing forces that are exactly equal, and the tension between the two of them never goes away. So it's sort of like she's got these 2 swords, and she's under the moon, and of course this reading is for the new moon and the partial lunar eclipse. And there is peace, yes, but it's a bit of an uncomfortable peace. And you can think of her blindfolded. She's not sure how long it's going to last. This doesn't look like it can last forever. Her arms will get tired. You know, she's holding these lines, these opposing swords together. And she's doing it. She's doing it well. But that can't last forever. There comes a time when we need to renew. We need to put it down. We need to renew. Sorry, I bumped the camera. Okay, so what are we moving towards if we choose it? Well, what we're moving towards is the Two of Cups, which is a harmonious union. It's really in some ways the antithesis of the Two of Swords, where she feels like she's holding the bag alone. She doesn't have any help. So all of the poise and the balance is being provided by her inner strength. And she can't see what's coming next, and she can't see what's in the future. She's just holding the line as best she can. And I think that's the way a lot of people have felt. But this might even represent, you know, this sort of Libra moment that we're working towards. And you can see the caduceus here, which is also the symbol for Mercury, which is the ruling planet of Virgo. And Venus, which is sort of the planet of love, has moved into Libra. So we see this Two of Cups. And this is a sharing where both parties look like they're entering into it voluntarily. They both look willing to carry the cup that they have. And they're not alone, because there's this figure overhead that sort of heals and blesses and oversees this union, providing it with extra help. And so what's happening here is not that, no, that's not going to happen. I think it's just that this is happening, but it's not happening in this huge breakthrough, you're popping out of the coffin kind of way. You feel yourself bursting out of the cocoon. It's not that kind of an exciting breakthrough. This is a slow turning, if you know that song. It's a slow turning from the inside out. It's happening. It's real. You're going to see it happen in ways that are not glamorous to explain, so that you're going to tell somebody, I stopped watering my plant and it changed my life. I found the nail, the missing nail, and it changed my life. It's true, but it isn't going to sound so exciting as I was raised from the dead, right? I had this huge breakthrough moment. I had someone showed up at my door. Hello, I'm your destiny. This isn't going to be like that, but it will not make the results any less beautiful or meaningful to you. In fact, I think your ability to master your own impatience, and mine too, is going to make it even better. So let's see what the Oracle card says. Okay, Spirit of Place, and it is also in reverse, which is 4, so obviously a number of security. This one, because we have the leaves in it, always reminds me of autumn in the first place. But the Spirit of Place says, authenticity is the essence of power. And in reverse, it says, don't get entangled in details or desires that obscure the truth of your situation. What is the real nature of my inquiry? You hold the power to tell the truth, first to yourself, then to the world. What I'm covering a lot in the Mercury Retrograde videos about vision boarding and that kind of thing is exactly this idea that becoming authentic to yourself and realizing what your previous goal setting has been trying to tell you about your real agendas and your real values is going to make anything you do in the future with them much more valuable and much more powerful. So I hope that you have a great new moon, and that basically as we go, you sort of see these cards in their slow turnings kind of come around to a way that you can really recognize them for what they are and recognize the greatness of who you are. So until next time, rock on.